Welcome to Anchored with Grace. We have here Crystal Hudson, a candidate for City Council, 35th District for Brooklyn. Welcome. Our platform is about encouraging people to tap into their gifts and their talents. We believe everybody has a gift. With that being said, what will you bring, Crystal, as a council member to Brooklyn as a gift that you have? Share that with us.
Well, thank you for that question. Thank you for having me here. And I'm sorry for the background noise. I'm just between events and meetings. But I think a gift that I have that I'm bringing to the 35th Council District is the fact that I am unafraid and I am authentic. I am always authentically my full self. And I'm very proud to bring my pride as a Black person, my pride as a gay person, and my pride as a woman into representing everybody in the 35th District. I'm here to represent everyone and not just some people, not just the people who look like me or the people who agree with me 100% of the time. And so that's my gift.
Amen. That sounds like a wonderful, awesome gift that you have. Thank you.
And Crystal, because I know you don't have a lot of time, and the Democratic primary early voting already started June 22nd. People are going to be voting. Why should they rank you number one?
They should rank me number one because I'm the only candidate running in this race with any experience in city government. And as we look to recover from the pandemic, the economy, the racial reckoning, it's important that we elect leaders who can hit the ground running on day one. And I'm the only one that can do that. I got into public service because I was a caregiver for my mother who had Alzheimer's disease for the past 8 years. And I saw how incredibly difficult it was to get access to services and resources and even just basic information at times. And I'm running to make government more accessible for more of us. I've seen both from outside government and inside government how broken government is. And I think if we don't have government that's actually prioritizing those of us with the greatest needs, and if we don't have a city that works for all of us and not just some of us, then we're all going to be behind. And so I want to ensure that that's not the case. And in order to do so, we need to elect people who can hit the ground running on day one, and that's me.
All right. Thank you. Thank you. Crystal, 65% of our children are not graduating. They're not learning. What would you do different with the school system as a council member?
Well, we have the largest school system in America and also the most segregated school system in America, which means, of course, that our Black and brown kids are not getting access to the same quality education as their white counterparts. And so we need to ensure that our schools are fully funded, our schools are fully resourced. We need to ensure that we have access to all the after-school programs, that kids should have access to: arts and crafts, STEAM programs, language programs. And we should be setting kids up for success and not for failure. We also need vocational opportunities for folks. Not everybody wants to go to college or is destined for college, but everybody should be able to have access to good jobs with good wages based on a quality education that they receive. And that's just simply not the case right now.
All right. Thank you. Cynthia?
Yes, there's a lot of concern about development in your district. What would you do about development and also balancing affordable housing and the housing crisis in our district and in New York City?
Well, we need to build affordable housing. We need to build truly affordable housing that actually reflects the needs and the income of those of us living in the 35th District. I want to make sure that those of us living here can afford to stay here. We cannot find our way out of a housing crisis that doesn't include building housing. And that's just the bottom line. But we need to do so in a way that is responsible, that is community-led and community-driven and community-centered, and that, is led by us. I think there's a misperception that developers are the only ones with a plan for the future of New York City. And that's simply not true. We know what our communities need. We know what we want to see. And we need to be empowered to essentially create the future of our district looks like. I have a plan where we would create together in a very participatory governance way, which means that everybody is included in the process, and it would be a very deliberate and intentional process where we'll create together a list of priorities. If we know we're short elementary school seats, we will require that developers build towards putting in those school seats. If we know that we want to see a sustainable New York, and then we're going to create green roofs that allow water that collect green runoff. If we know we need dog parks, so that we're not sharing space with dogs, in our playgrounds and parks and so forth. Whatever those priorities are, publicly accessible green space, whatever those priorities are, I have a plan to create a list of those priorities together that's community led, and then develop a threshold. So let's say we determine 60% is the threshold required for a developer to build something in our district. That way, when a developer comes into the 35th district, we can say, here's our list of priorities, and you need to meet at least 60% of these priorities in order to do business with us in this district. And if you can't do that, then it's a non-starter. And then we don't even go through, the formal process, the ULERT process. I think, we have to put the power back in the people's hands in determining what the future of our city looks like. And we can do that. I think we just need to elect leaders like myself who have the political will and the courage to actually stand up and make sure that gets done.
I do concur. I concur with your statement. I concur. With the homeless and mental health issues that's happening in our district, how would you deal with that as a council member in terms of eradicating that?
I think we need more funding. We need to ensure that the organizations who are already doing such great work around these issues have more funding to provide the services that these folks need. We need to make sure police are not responding to mental health crises, and that we have supportive housing where people can have a roof over their heads, they can have access to all the social services and educational and work opportunities that they need. But we have to do that with funding. We have to invest in our communities. We have to invest in our people, and we have to invest in the programs that we know work.
Sounds like to me that you're going to be fighting for the funding for our community. Is that correct?
You got it. You got it. Absolutely. I mean, we need to invest in our communities. Our communities, our Black and Brown communities in particular, have never been invested in. We've never seen fully resourced schools, fully resourced public hospitals, fully resourced public housing. We've never seen that. We don't know what that looks like. And so I will absolutely be fighting tooth and nail to ensure that our communities have everything that we need to not just survive, but to really thrive here in the 35th district and all across the world.
Cynthia?
Yes. What in your life experience would allow you to have like empathy and compassion for our community?
Well, I was a caregiver for my mother for 8 years. She had Alzheimer's disease. I moved in, with her back into my childhood home to ensure that she could age safely at home with dignity. And I think every senior or anyone, no matter the age, reaching the end of their life deserves to be at home or to be wherever they want to be, wherever they might be most comfortable and in a familiar environment. I think far too many people are forced into nursing homes or other facilities because they simply can't afford to not be in those places. And, we have a system that just doesn't work for so many of us. And so, it's actually been through my caregiving experience that I got into public service. And, seeing firsthand just how incredibly difficult it is for any of us to get access to anything. And so I'm offering and bringing to the table my lived experience as a caregiver. We don't talk about the care economy nearly as much as we should. And that's because it is predominantly made up of women of color, and of immigrant women. Care providers, whether you're caring for children or for older folks, do not have the workplace protections that the rest of us do in traditional workplaces. And so we have to invest in caregivers, care providers, caretakers, whether they are paid or unpaid family members. We have to invest in the care economy, and we have to make sure that, people can age safely or reach the end of their life with dignity and respect. And thank you so much for that question. I do have to jump off and
Okay, thank you.
head into this event.
Thank you so
Okay,
much
thank
for coming on.
Thank you.
Thank
I'm
you.
sorry it's been on the go.
Is it true that it would be an historical election if you're elected, that you would be the first?
I would be the first gay Black woman ever elected in New York City, which is something I'm very proud of. Proud to be running a historic campaign and excited to have the opportunity for the 35th district to help make history in that way.
Thank you so much.
And welcome to Anchored with Grace. We thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
All right.
Good
Take
luck.
care.
All right.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.